there, I hope that you're doing well. Since there's no talking segment in this week's video because I completely forgot to film one, I thought I would record a bit of a voiceover instead and talk about how the week went, give you a bit of context, and also talk about the paintings that I'm working on. So my exam on Tuesday went okay. I've passed it. I don't have to worry about it anymore, thank goodness, though it's not like a standalone exam. So the mark that I got for that will be put together with other 2 marks from 2 different exams, and then the mean of those 3 will be my final grade for those exams. It's a whole thing. Everything is complicated this semester. I can't explain it. But good thing is over with. I don't have to think about that anymore. I think that was my least favorite one out of those 3 at the very least. Probably least favorite one of the semester. So thank goodness that went well. This week, I just took a lot of time to rest outside of lectures, which is why the video is shorter than usual. I didn't really have much to film just because whenever I wasn't in uni, I was home resting or I was out. I had a very social week, which is very unlike me, but it was my 2 closest friends' birthday this week. So me and Mallory had our annual fancy dinner on Wednesday. That's our birthday gift to each other. We never know what to gift each other. And also it's a good excuse to spend a nice evening together. So it works out really nicely, and we've been doing that for a while. So we went out for a really fancy dinner. It was so good. And then we went to the pub on Thursday for Francesca's birthday. Stayed out until quite late because her birthday was on Friday, so we wanted to celebrate at midnight. And then I had pizza on Saturday night with Mallory and another friend, and then on Sunday we had a big lunch with Mallory's family. So it was kind of a lot and it was really lovely. But between exams and all that going out, I was pretty tired, and I knew that I was going to be tired. So there's not much in the video outside of what you're seeing, because whenever I wasn't out, I was just resting, basically. I did, however, manage to do a little painting, which is nice. I have a very vague idea for a big painting that I would eventually like to work on. It's very vague. There's a lot to figure out still. I have my inspiration source, but I'm still very unsure about how I'm going to translate that into a piece. It's very much in the brainstorming phase. So for now, I thought I could work on some sketches. These really help me to work through things. So this in writing, I've done a bit of writing about it in my commonplace, and I'll do a bit more writing this upcoming week to figure out what I'm doing with the piece. But these really help me process ideas, and I had some color schemes in mind. I had some pictures that I wanted to use as references. So I just thought I would work on those. These are watercolor and gouache sketches on watercolor paper. I'm using a different paper this time. I'm not using the, what's it called, the cloudy textured one that I mentioned last week that people were laughing about in the comments. This is a much more standard watercolor paper. I think it's 300 GSM. It might also be Canson. And then I'm using my usual watercolors by Winsor & Newton and the Arteza gouache that I really like. I pulled out all of my gouache tubes and I played around with them and tried to pair them up in different groups and tried to figure out color palettes and stuff. And then I picked a couple that I liked, and those are the colors that I ended up using for these pieces. I will say I do like how the portrait turned out. I really like how the portrait turned out in the end as well. The floral piece, I think I like at certain points in the painting process. I'm not so sure whether I like it as it is now, when I finished it. I'm not so sure I like the end result as much, but it was interesting. It's again, it always comes back to the same thing of why I like recording myself paint so much, because it's very insightful for me to look back at myself painting and see what decisions I made and understand that maybe the reason why I don't like a piece is because at this point I made that decision, and I would have liked the result better if I'd made another decision or something like that. So that's always very interesting for me to see, and I think these are a really good starting point for me to keep thinking about the piece and keep working on the piece. I'll do a bit more journaling about them this upcoming week. I've not really had time to just yet, and then hopefully do some more sketches, because I'm definitely nowhere near ready to start the final painting yet. I want to change the color palette by a lot, but I do really like some of the textures that I've come up with and some of the mark making. It's something that I've been exploring a lot, and it's been interesting with these mixed media sketches to see how I can translate the exploration that I was doing with oils to what I'm doing now with watercolor and gouache. It's been interesting, and I think I'm quite satisfied with where things are going. I think the final piece will be in oil, or it might be another mixed media piece, but I will be using oils for that as well, and I think it's going to be another big painting. I'm not sure if it will be as big as the canvas one that I did a couple of months back. I'm not sure how big exactly that was. It might be like a 60 by 80 centimeters painting, but I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's going to be similar to that, if it's going to be smaller, if I'm going to be doing it on canvas, because I do really like the way that I was able to play with the acrylic background on that one to achieve almost a watercolor-like effect with bleeds and blooms, and I really like the way that worked out, and I can't do that on wood, and I am not sure that I want to paint on paper, on watercolor paper, on such a big scale again, because with oils it's always a bit of a fuss. So we'll see what I end up coming up with for that. You'll definitely see that in the videos, but it probably won't be for another few weeks at the very least. It's unfortunate that I don't really have a lot of time to paint now, but I am also going through, I think, the last 2 weeks of lectures. I have this week, which is a bit weird because so this week that I'm recording it in, so it's a week after the video was filmed. I have 2 exams this week. I have 2 exams that take up 2 whole mornings, if not more than that, and then I think the week after I'm pretty much done with lectures, so that's quite nice. At least next week I might only have like half of the lectures I normally would, and then the one after I'm done. So it'll be good to like continue having exams but not have lectures in the meantime, which is what it's meant to be like. But as I said, everything is complicated this semester, and we're just taking it week by week and trying to make everything work out. I've been journaling a lot. I was counting pages the other day because it feels like yesterday I reached the middle of my commonplace, and now I'm well over that, and I think I did like 20 pages in the last week and a half. So there's a lot going on up here, like up in my head, that I need to get out, and it's unfortunate that I don't have as much time to paint as I would like to, because that really helps me, but I'm grateful that I, at least this way, it does seem to be a bit more manageable than working with oils, and that's what I wanted in the first place, so I'm happy that's working out. I will see if when I stop having lectures I will have a bit more time to work with oils again, if I'll keep exploring this. I'm not really sure. I'm having a lot of fun with this though. I think I want to try a few different things. I know I have some gold and like metallic watercolor from back when I was doing art A-level, like A-level art. I think I bought it when I was in England. And then I also have some masking fluid, which I've always hated because I've never heard of anyone mentioning this, but the Winsor & Newton masking fluid that I have really, really stinks. Like, it's terrible. And I've never liked working with it for that reason. I'm not sure if I just got a bad batch or if it's, a thing that happens with every masking fluid. But it does create really interesting effects. So I might try to work with that and try to play around with some negative space. I don't think I've ever used that with gouache, but I don't really think that'll be an issue unless I use like really thick layers of gouache, but then like I'll just be conscious about it and not do that. So that would be something I'm interested that I might be interested in exploring. God, I had a 4-hour long English lecture this morning, and this English course is making me question everything I know about English, and I feel like I can't talk anymore. So sorry if I'm babbling and I'm a bit all over the place. So that's something that I want to try out. I also have been really enjoying. I use them a bit with these paintings. I have been really enjoying the Arteza gouache, like the metallic ones, like the pearl ones, I think they're called. There's some really, really good ones. They come in a lot of different colors, and I think that's something that I never tried before. So it's cool to see how that plays into paintings as well. There's also a bronze colored one. I've always just worked with silver and gold, but never bronze, and I really, really like that. So that'll probably come into play with some color palettes that I might try to explore. And I just have a list of things that I would like to try. I am thinking about trying out oil pastels as well. I have a full like set in my wish list. I found an online store in Italy that sells Sennelier oil pastels, like not as a set, that sells them like singularly, so you can pick your own colors. And I've put my own set together. I think I picked 25 colors, so I might buy that, but it's kind of a big expense, so we'll think about it. I might buy it like in the next month, but I'm interested to play around with that as well. And I've had some artist friends say that considering my style and the way that I paint, they think it's a medium that would really suit me. But I've always been very scared of it. I've always found it, at least seeing other people using oil pastels, I've always been very intrigued, but also I think it's a very difficult medium to work on. But then again, I don't think I've tried them myself ever. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in these mixed media pieces as well. And again, like just to add texture and details to proper oil paintings. So I'll stop rambling because I've been talking for far too long. I hope the video was okay. It's a bit different from usual, but it's weird times with exams and uni and everything. So I hope that was all right. I hope that you're doing well, and I will see you soon with a new one. Bye, take care.